Over the last several months, our team has been working on something special. We just launched a new channel to host the Reseller Room podcast. This podcast is focused on helping people start or grow their reselling business. We'd love to have you check it out and share your feedback so we can continue to find ways to add value to you as a part of our community. Go subscribe now to catch the latest episodes.
What's up, CATRP crew? We got a lot going on today. One of the first things that we're doing is Chase and I just talked about revamping the Whatnot setup. So we'll kind of go over our setup and talk about what we're going to upgrade, some fun stuff coming there. But also, it's the first time all of us are kind of back in the house for once. We have Alpal.
Yeah, I've been out and I'm still just family stuff going on.
I think we've had 2 weeks this entire year where we've all been here.
It's been crazy. And with the collection that came in and other stuff, I mean, it's probably 120, 130 grand worth of stuff. Probably more than that, 140 grand worth of stuff. And just a ton of people have been gone.
We've been
crazy time.
Maybe not chest deep, but eye deep
Right.
and stuff. Chase is downstairs, but we'll head down there. But one of the other things that we'll go over today is just kind of not a state of the union, but more so we're kind of catching up with video games. We still have a lot of the game convention stuff to go through, but there's a lot to look forward to as well, and maybe we'll talk about a couple of the other collections coming in. Maybe.
I will say, thankfully, the big collection from the convention is a large majority Whatnot, because the last collection we got in was all disc base. When we got the $100,000 collection in January, it was all disc base. So it all had to be gone through, processed, and then most of it sold on Amazon, which is a longer process versus we know we can put it in a Whatnot bin.
A boxed Pokemon game just needs a battery swap.
Yes, or NES game doesn't need anything. It can just go on the shelf and then be sold.
But before we go any further, I'm telling them. It's our channel sponsor, XYAB. They're in my ear right now saying that they've got a deal for you. Link in our description, but we love XYAB. We have tons and tons of supplies up there, tons of cases up there that we are always buying for them. If you sell video games, you need a partner with XYAB. Check out our links below. The other thing that we're currently kind of preparing for is cash flow is kind of down right now. We're April and May, whether you're on Amazon, eBay, or wherever, typically trends down. Now for Whatnot, we've actually seen the opposite, but that's because we know April and May are going to trend down, so we just do a ton of Whatnot and it makes up for it. So I don't know what your guys' Whatnot experience is with stuff like that, but we're planning to do a lot of really big shows, which is kind of why we're going over this Whatnot setup, and you guys will see we have some fun stuff planned. But I think it'll be very important for getting our cash flow up, so this is definitely a time where regardless of where you're selling, you might want to do the fast nickel model versus the slow dime, unless if you have just a big backlog of inventory that you're going to continue to list, or you have a ton of cash flow and reserves and you're fine with letting stuff sit. That's totally fine. Otherwise, I would say be a little more willing to take some of those offers. Do a spring sale on your eBay store. Alpal, I guess, what would you recommend in this time?
The first thing is I want to say it is a poor choice of words saying fast nickel versus slow dime. For us, it's more like a fast 8 pennies instead of slow 10 pennies. If we were doing 50% on everything on Whatnot, we wouldn't do Whatnot at all. Our things we sell for 50%, but that's because we don't have much into it or whatever. But
we have 10% into it.
Be careful to still make money.
We average on Whatnot, I think 87% or something last time we checked.
It's just worth getting it out quicker versus we sold a bunch of special edition consoles that in my experience on eBay, would have sat for some cases 6 months to a year, and I mean that was thousands of dollars that we had sitting there versus now it's all back. We would have got maybe $500, $600, $700 more dollars if we set them on eBay. If you can do that, great, but we need the cash flow,
and we don't want to store them. It's a lot of space.
Right, but for eBay, you might have to tailor your promoted listings just to get stuff more eyes on it, because not as many people are looking. Try the store-wide sales. You don't need to price your stuff lower. Just put sales on it so people see that slash price. 15% off, that gets the eyes on it. And eBay actually pushes stuff that's on sale as well. So I would try to just do whatever you can in this time to make sure sales are still coming in.
So we just had our Monday meeting, very, very fun. Whatnot setup. Let me give you the quick rundown of what it currently is. A lot of you have asked, and then what it's going to look like. So put it real simple, we have computer right here. This computer runs everything. You need a nice computer. Not really. We have 3 monitors. Those are all plugged directly into here. We can have like 4 or 5 with this setup, and it's all good. Next piece, let's do audio real quick. So this is our mixing board, the Rodecaster Pro 2. This is pretty overkill for what most people need, but we have the ability to go mobile with our microphones. So we have the Rode Wireless Pro. We just slap these on and it automatically connects to the mixer right here. We can walk around, people can still hear us. If you're just sitting at a desk, I don't necessarily recommend that, but if you're doing lots of moving, any kind of lav mic system, the DJIs can plug directly into a computer and it should be fine. I'm not gonna get too tech with it. This is the Shure MV7. This is our main audio. It's like a small version of all the podcast microphones that you see people with. These right here, we have 3 of these cameras. These are the Elgato Facecam Pros. We have 3 of them. One of them is our little face cam. You can see me right there, yeah. Dude, we're gonna go jumbo mode. We have one is our top down. We're using the Elgato multi-mount system to hold everything up. This is an Elgato key light. I like keeping everything in one system, so everything pretty much is Elgato. We have another Facecam Pro here with a little table mount, so we can go mobile, but this is one of the things that's going to change. I'll explain that in just a second. We have our scanner right here, so if we don't know the value of a game, we can just scan it real quick. So like if we pull up, you know, price charting, or we have like an internal pricing tool that Ken built us, Super KMX. We can take a game. Gosh, we don't have games up here. Here, let's take Nintendogs. We can just scan it real quick if we need to, and boom, price charting's there.
Can you show me exactly what it looks like for us when we're running a whatnot?
Yeah, sure. This is what it currently looks like. So we have our little camera here, that's this guy. We have our top down, that's this guy. Really, it films like this whole table, and I have it cropped in because we stream vertically. That's its own thing, but we might change that. We might, to use more vertical space, is rotate this camera in a certain way to where we set things up. If I were to lay out a game, currently, I lay it out in front of me, right here. You can see everything. I have a stream deck here, which has a bunch of things programmed to where if I press zoom, it'll zoom in. I can do mega zoom and it will mega zoom in, blah, 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 whatever. But we could, in theory, set it up like this, sideways, and be able to use more of the table here. Otherwise, if we extend it anymore, it's just a crotch shot. It ends at the table right now, but if I take off the crop and expand it, it's just like in our laps. You don't need to see our laps. Anyways, what we're going to do and expand is introduce a few more little buttons here. So I have this like, okay, we can turn the light on and off, control it, blah, blah, blah. One of the nice things about Elgato, not a sponsor, would love it if you guys sponsored Elgato. Reach out, please. We use your stuff all the time. Is you can program these little buttons to show up in OBS to where we can tell people, oh, look, this game is sealed. Or, oh, this game is complete. And I have them on a 10-second timer, so they'll automatically go away. But the reason I have that is because sometimes we would press like sealed and then not turn it off. So we'd leave it on and we might be running an item that's not sealed. We don't have to do that. It's just a little bonus thing so people know exactly what they're getting. So these buttons are just broken. It's like a minty fresh button and a sudden death and heavy alert button. They're these like big things that would pop up on screen and be all cool. The button's all broke. Got to fix those. There's this whole hotkey triggering thing where if we press this, it essentially mimics a hotkey stroke on the keyboard that then tells the computer to do something. Anyways, that's the rundown. So this setup, Alpal, has made us, gosh, how many millions of dollars? Maybe not this specific setup.
Yeah.
This setup, I think, has made us $1 million.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So at the time of recording, year-to-date sales on Whatnot are about $250,000. At the same time period, 2024 was $500,000, which is crazy. But during that time, we bought one of the nicest collections we've ever bought, worth well into the 6 figures, and we did tons of shows. You guys might remember it was all clean, NES, SNES, an insane amount of items. It was all very expensive. So in 2024, we did 50 streams at that point. This year we've done 34. So I think we have room to kind of pick up the pace a little bit, especially because we have so much stuff to sell that you guys have seen in the last video and you'll see in the next video. I think we can definitely start picking up those numbers. Alpal, do you have any thoughts on what we could do this year on Whatnot? I know our goal was lower. I think our goal last year was $1 million. We did like maybe 1.2 on Whatnot in sales, that is. That's before fees, that's before costs, that's before a lot of stuff. What is your thoughts?
So we did actually lower our goal this year to like 800,000. 200,000 on Whatnot, but I think we're seeing that we just can't do that just because like we see the buy list has obviously ramped up Amazon a ton, but we still have gotten the same amount of Whatnot inventory in.
Yeah.
So it has to be a focus. Like the last few weeks we haven't done, like there's like what, 2 weeks in a row we didn't do a Whatnot.
Yeah, I think we maybe did one in a 2-week
we
period.
Might did one, and we felt it. Like that's kind of what made us surge to do all this organization for Whatnot and really help us realize. I mean, we get collections in all the time that are majority Whatnot items.
Think about it like this. Sorry to interrupt. If we did 2.5 million last year, top line, our cost of goods was 1.2 million.
Yeah.
So we have to do Whatnot because that was what we sold on Whatnot.
Have to, yeah. So I think it's just we're understanding it just has to be an integral part. I think that 1.2 is extremely manageable. I do think
it's 100,000 a month, 25,000 a week.
I do think the 500K in the first quarter,
that was an outlier.
It was an outlier because it was the biggest retro collection we've ever gotten in.
Yeah. Even proportionally, I think we should be closer to 325 than
I think
250.
so. Obviously heavy inventory. We have about 30 bins of Whatnot stuff that we could run right now. I think 1.2 is definitely manageable, and I think it's almost necessary.
What's our cost of goods year to date? It's a ton.
It might be at 600,000 now.
And it's April.
More than half is buy list. I think buy list is at like 380 now.
Jeez.
Or something like that, which is insane. Insane.
It's more than Chase and I made my first year.
When I came into the business, we did like 300,000 in a year in sales on eBay.
Yeah.
And now...
Didn't we match it on Whatnot that year? Because Whatnot came into the picture all at the same time, so... For big events that happened, it was buy the original game barn with 50 to 70,000 games. Then it was hire Alpal out of necessity, and then Whatnot was brewing in the background. But because of that, we were like, Alpal, your first month is going to be shipping Whatnot. We're going to do an auction every single day. You learn nothing about the business other than shipping, and you mastered it in a month. That's weird to think about where we've come.
Just from a few years ago, we are now spending more than the business made.
Jeez. It's not beyond us, guys. It's still very surreal.
It's crazy. We have such a great problem here. Like we're suffering from the Lord's blessings of success. We're slowly having to redefine how we do things, make things more efficient, and Whatnot is a platform that we have to utilize in a better way because just the engine it is of getting stuff in and out as quickly as possible.
For communicating with you guys, and the amount of buying and selling that goes back and forth as well is one, fun, but also great for business.
It is great for business. We've now have bought multiple collections from people that bought their stuff from us on Whatnot.
Yeah, and they're just like, I had my fun, I'm ready to sell.
Like I literally am emailing with someone today about like they're just a constant buyer. They're like, hey, I'm looking to purge some of my collection. Let's get a deal done. So that the community is the biggest part. Like we have so many awesome people and Whatnot that we wouldn't know. Like Amazon is just all hands off. We don't know a single customer we deal with because we don't deal with any of them. They don't get our faces. Obviously we don't see Whatnot faces. That would be crazy if we constantly saw 200 people's faces at all times.
I wouldn't like that.
Like the Zoom calls for classes. You just see everybody's faces. I'm sure most people wouldn't want that either, but
for 10% discount?
Right.
I don't know.
That is why it has to be just such a focus because of the community. And we always want. It's not just about the money we make from Whatnot. That's a value in our business that we have is being out there for communities, like helping people out, blessing people. There's ways that we just send items to people. We want to be a bigger and bigger blessing to the community, and Whatnot is the only way.
You guys are doing that too. They're buying giveaways to give away. Like the community over there is truly awesome.
Yeah, you guys make us be more generous because of how generous you are. Like there's a guy, Mike D, on Whatnot. I think he's bought a sponsored giveaway in like every show in like the last month.
Yeah.
As soon as the show starts, Mike D, sponsored giveaway. It's like, dude. So without Whatnot, we wouldn't have any.
Here's what we're gonna do now. We wanna expand so we can run bigger things. We're limited to, say we have this. It is very hard to lay this out and have it all right here. You can't see it. It's all right here. You can't see it. Even if I zoom out, it doesn't matter. So right now what we're doing is we are laying everything out on a table, grabbing this mobile cam and walking over and kind of showing it, but it's shaky. We're bound by this. Yes, we know that.
And then you'd have to put the mic on, or no one's gonna be able to hear you.
Well, that's the other thing. So it's this mic. So I think we're gonna get more used to just wearing these. And if we're sitting down, well, we can either drop the audio on this, or we can just press the mute button. Both of those things can work. A couple of pro cons to this: quality, really, really nice. Con, has to stay wired. We know that we could use a phone that can link to OBS. There's a couple things that do it. There's an app that you can get, but it's a little unreliable in my experience, and it costs like 70 or 80 bucks for one-time purchase. Granted, these cameras were 300 bucks a piece, but for just the inconsistency factor, I want to keep everything wired. All the same cameras, a lot easier to do a bunch of that stuff. So I think here's what we're gonna do. We're going to have kind of a top-down camera type rig where we can lay out items underneath, and the camera will actually be on a slider where we can slide it back and forth if we have several items that we're showing off. That way it's like, okay, here's, you know, 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame, and maybe even we'll like tape off like the safe area so we know where to put everything. We'll figure that out with time. Also, I think we might get a FlexiSpot desk for up here, or some kind of standing desk. FlexiSpot, sponsor us. We'd love to.
Please, gosh.
We use all your desks. I think maybe we'll order one of those. With that, introduces a few more weird things. This cable that attaches the camera, just to keep everything like good and, you know, 60 frames a second, all the tech stuff. The cable's like 40, 50 bucks, and it's just an annoying cable to buy. If you want to buy the next step up that's like even longer, I think it's like $120 for the cable. So I think we can make do with what we have here. All the cameras go to like a USB-C dock that's Velcro to the back there. If you guys have ideas for anything that I'm saying or cool things, features that you want to see, let us know. There's a lot of stuff we can do. We can do like face tracking stuff. We just need a new graphics card for the computer, and we can do like real-time face tracking and like do some funny stuff with that. But I also think we are going to take this and put it on a mount. So the back of this board is actually just like any monitor. So you can get a monitor arm, and we might just put it like right here so we can swivel it out of the way or just be able to tilt it. Because right now it's just kind of awkwardly right in here. And there's like soundboard effects and stuff that we can do with that we haven't done yet. Like we can do an applause one and just have like yay or congratulations.
That
We
would
can
be
pre-record
cool.
a lot.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Like there's a lot that's pre-programmed in there. We can do other like voice modulating stuff too if we want. There's a lot of things that we can get creative with, and we've been in this setup now for how long? You know, about
Gosh, it's been longer since Noel's been here. How long before that?
8 months? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if it's been less than a year.
I think it's been less than a year, but it's close.
Yeah.
Close to a year. But we really like this setup, and now it's like, let's take it a step up. I think one thing I'm going to look at first is, can I use any of the Elgato things to kind of build what I'm thinking here? There was something that works perfect. It's essentially 2 little bars on a slider where you can just roll the camera, but a lot of them are like adjustable. You unscrew, move it, and then rescrew it down. For all my camera folks, let me know what we should get, please. I know there's lots of you. But Alpel, I guess what are your thoughts? Because I think you and I are going to be doing some more streaming soon, because you guys are watching this.
Probably, yeah. But yes, I am excited to get in some more whatnots. I was helping Nolan a little bit on Friday, and it's like I have like numbers of people that we've met on whatnot, and I'm like slowly starting to realize, I'm like, man, these relationships are kind of dwindle a little bit if I can't communicate with people on whatnot. It's such a bigger thing than sales for our whatnots. We have gained so many connections through meeting people on whatnot. We just got to meet so many great people. Even some of them have come to the barn and hung out with us, so that's really cool. And just
Or now we can do direct sales with some of them.
yeah, and we just talk about, like, some of them have kids, we talk about kids and their kids, and like we just text, and it's just a great time. So I'm excited to get back into some whatnot, and whatnots are just fun.
From an efficiency standpoint, I guess what are your thoughts with everything I'm saying? Because I say all this, but I still want it to be efficient for the person running things, you know?
I mean, definitely the top down, it's just going to make the whole setup easier and a better experience, which obviously we want that for you guys. It will make it possible for big items to be ran by one person. So if you're new, like, we tried as much as possible to make a whatnot show be ran by one person, just because then other people can be selling on Amazon or process and buy lists or whatever else. We do help, but anytime we can make things available for just one person to do it. We ran consoles with Nolan on Friday, and I had to come up here with him because you have to grab the camera and someone has to be over there because we forget that the mics are there. And when you're over here, you can't see what something is running for. You don't know if you're still talking about for 30 seconds and the auction's over.
Yeah.
And you can't, and people, it's just, if we can make the whole experience be able to, for one person to do, that would be great.
That's very valuable. And I'll show you another thing.
Are we gonna have a monitor over here? Are we gonna?
We could. I think we have the ability for like one more monitor, and that's without even getting a dock. We could also, since we have like a Whatnot phone, it's kind of like the business phone now, we could just have that open to the side and just get in the habit of opening it up, because you can still see what all the bids are going for. Other thing that I'm doing, I'm calling it Big Cam. It's just this one zoomed in. So if you have to show something large, like we're just selling boxes, this is about how far I have to stand. If you want to look at me compared to like the table, it's probably like 6 feet away. But on there, it looks nice and big to where I can show this item right here now. Say it was just the box and actually display it well. And we don't have our lighting on or anything like that, but
So the split screen will go away and it's just this on the screen.
It'll be like that on screen. We're just trying to figure out other things that are valuable, because Whatnot is also a little bit weird, where when you're streaming, there's like this black hazy filter that gets put over the screen. It's not totally clear. If you guys are on Whatnot, also text Whatnot to 269-390-8555, give you a coupon, alerts when we're doing streams so you don't miss cool stuff. Like, who knows, maybe we'll sell the old one of those, I don't know. If you're on Whatnot, like swipe to the right and it'll get rid of chat, it'll get rid of the bidding feature, and you'll see how much more clear the picture is. So there's also something to be said about, we don't want to have too much on screen, because right now we have our camera, we have this little text banner that's going by, and then we have everything here in this space. If we look up here, about all of this space is just unusable. There's actually this overlay I can put. This white border is what people actually see on Whatnot. This red border is what desktop people see. So there's also a difference there that we have to be mindful of on the streaming side, where if we have a very large item, we have to know that the sides are getting cut off. So that's where it just makes even more sense for large items that meet that criteria, that standard. Can be right here. We can show it off a little bit and then go over and still be like, hey, here's what it's going for. Still talk about it.
If there's any Whatnot devs out here,
Yes, Whatnot devs, please.
swipe away feature, great. Make it so you can swipe away the chat and still bid. Because the swipe away feature is literally only for people who just want to watch.
Yeah,
Because
there's a
if you
lot
swipe away, you can't do anything.
Well, there's a lot of people that want to be involved in chat but not bid.
Right.
So it's like having a couple swipes,
Having a couple filters of
being able to
swiping,
customize your UI would be great. Like, I don't want the share buttons right here. I don't want all of that.
It's probably pretty hard for coding, but I will say the reason we love Whatnot is not just because of being able to sell things fast, but they are constantly improving. Yes, some of the improvements are like, they have issues with them, but they would rather launch their newest thing and deal with the issues rather than try to make this thing for a year and then launch it and people hate it.
Yeah.
Whatnot has been so innovative.
I think that's why they're worth billions of dollars, and they're the biggest live streaming seller, I think, in the US, UK, and like 5 other countries or something.
Yes, they would rather launch something and then go, that didn't work. All right, let's try something else.
And it's not like it's ever totally half-baked. It's just like 80% there sometimes at worst.
But then you get thousands upon thousands of beta testers.
Yeah.
Because everyone reaches out to you, hey, there's this issue.
There's 2 models for launching stuff like that, and I think both can be valid, but one definitely inhibits growth. The other is like, can rapidly scale, but when you're using a bunch of people as quote-unquote beta testers, you don't want them to feel that way. That's where it's a little bit different. I think all the features that Whatnot has added, they've done smaller tests with like select people and then launched it, but it's always like a 1 or 2 week period. It's never like months and months of this.
Yeah, I'm sure Whatnot does
cycle.
their due diligence before they launch something, but they don't worry about the nitpicky stuff.
Yeah.
They let that happen
There's
on the
no
back end.
like not trial groups. What's the thing, like get 10 people around like
Right.
a table and you have them try a chocolate bar and they're like, now what do you think?
Yeah,
Like,
they
don't
go,
do that.
all right, that idea's good. It's
here's
pretty
this
much set
chocolate
up.
bar.
Yep.
Let's see how it sells.
Yes.
For how the actual shows work typically, because a lot of people ask about that. We just did an overhaul. Alpal and Nolan organized a bunch, and it looks great up here now. We've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, there used to be like
They
3
finally-
tables
They
here.
finally did it.
There's like 7 bins over there.
Yes, in the last video, we showed where our big items are organized downstairs now. So we have everything in bin systems and some stuff on a shelf. TLDR. We'll bring up one of those bins now, and we can either leave it in the bin or we can organize it on here based on kind of its type or subcategory. Say we're bringing up NES. We'll have this big bin of NES stuff like this, and we can go, okay, Let's put a bunch of the kind of medium tier cartridges right here. And then let's put all the high-end CIB right here. That way, if somebody's asking for something in particular or the auction is leaning one way, like, oh, people really want sudden death cartridges right now, I know exactly where to grab. So it comes from here, goes on the table, we press run, sell, whatever. And then we have our boxes. You guys have seen those based on the auction number that it sells, goes in that, and then we'll take one of these boxes and we'll actually go down to the shipping area as well. It's been a while since we've shown this, but another thing we should do is maybe have these. Yeah, like these are buy it nows right now. I think it's an inefficient space right now, and we can probably do themed shows right on here at the very least to show like trailers and stuff. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Alpal.
Yeah, no, I
Like
don't. I don't hate that idea.
We take a bin, we take everything out of the bin, throw it on here. Then there's like a transfer thing. Maybe we'll get wheels for all of these and just take one and rotate it and bring it over there and move those shelves.
It also, like, trailers aren't extremely important. I don't think most people watch them. Like the thumbnail, get the most notable items in a thumbnail. I don't know if we have to just take out a whole bin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about theming shows, which is great. We don't need to show all items because people know this is a PlayStation show, or I like PlayStation. This new model requests are going to be much easier because there used to be, like, I would say 80% of that shelf over there was stuff that wasn't being ran during the show that we're running.
Mm-hmm.
So requests are going to be easier. So I don't know. I don't hate that idea, but yeah, there's the constant transfer thing that is happening. Our new system does make it harder to schedule out shows because we're binning it up, or we're unbinning it, and then we're binning it back up.
Yeah.
The system isn't great, but I'm okay with that system because it keeps us organized.
That's where it's
That's the thing. It's not perfect, but
it
I'd rather
forces
have
us
that.
to be organized.
Yes.
So let's take this bin, or this little box as an example, and bring it down. Oh, hi, Matt. Matt's eating chips.
That's always eating. He's diabetic.
Yeah. So say we have this box, and it's full of games. We bring them all down. And
Sorry, did you say something? I was looking at Matt.
yeah, so we would take this box full of stuff, we put it in its slot. So
It
we
looks
have
like that.
10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. We can do up to like, what, 300s on the show,
Yeah.
360,
Yeah.
something like that. Maybe more. Anyways, it's very easy because we're shipping right here. We can go, oh, we need to pull 85 and 93. All right, 85, boom, 93, boom. For clothes sellers, sometimes they'll have like those hanging organizers that go in your closets, and they'll have a ton of those and put stuff in there, and they'll have those slotted. For card people, I don't know exactly what they do. There's so many different methods to switch whatnot depending on your categories. There's people that do millions, if not tens of millions in sales just in cards, where their organization I'm just impressed with. I don't fully know how to do
Yeah,
it.
I
If
would
there's any
imagine
videos that you guys recommend,
It's got to be like a Rolodex or something, right?
yeah, right. Like, unless if there's just a different way entirely. I know that sometimes if something sells on whatnot, you can have it set up to where it just prints like a little card with the name of the item and like the user it's going to or something. But we also do bundled shipping. A lot of people. You good, Matt?
This was the saltiest thing I've ever eaten.
That was the saltiest boy ever.
Oh, it was horrible.
Best contribution.
I'm like dying in the background.
We do bundled shipping, so this system works for us. If we didn't do bundled shipping, there's probably many different ways to do it. This is what works for us. It's very organized. This is where we keep all of our shipping materials nice and close by in case we need to restock or stuff doesn't go in a flat rate box. Flat rates are absolutely fantastic, especially on Whatnot, because you can order them for free. I mean, look how many we have. Get them for free. So many things that we sell fits in a flat rate, just has to be over a pound. So sometimes like our average person orders like 2.3 items on Whatnot or something. We have our item weight set to 11 ounces. So when somebody buys 2 items, that means it's instantly put over a pound and we can throw it in a flat rate. If not, most of the time it can go in a bubble. If it can't, that's fine. We can increase the weight to 15 ounces instead of 11 and there's no upcharge. And then we can use one of these small boxes like this, the 1074 or 864, and those cost us money, but it's whatever. Over here is where I truly just love what you did, Alpal, because we don't have
Thanks.
any shows currently scheduled for this week, but instantly now I know, okay, we have like like 4 switch bins alone right here, so I know we can comfortably do a switch show or 2. Be able to bring these bins up, get it organized, whatever. I also see NES. I also see, you know, Game Boy, or just random stuff if we want to give things away in here or do whatever else. And then this is my favorite mission. I think we still have to organize the rest of this, so
Yeah,
ignore
I'm slowly
ignore
organizing
that
it.
part.
The top 3 are in
Yeah.
place.
So this system is great because if you need any high-end item at all, like we could be doing a Switch show, but there's 3 people that we know love N64. They're going for a complete set and they're there. Maybe we'll spice it up and run a related, you know, 64 title to Switch, like, oh, Super Smash Bros. Or whatever. Gives us options.
And this
Knowing
isn't-
where to find our stuff is
Yeah.
the most beneficial thing ever. On the shipping side, on the selling side.
This system makes us realize our profit quicker. This shelf shouldn't be full of over 50s and us not be doing a ton of whatnot. Like, that's just... So this will definitely help. And this isn't, like, foolproof. It's not everything. Like, I don't need to put this on that shelf. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to be able to see that's in a bin
Yeah.
and run it. It's just to make sure that we don't have
It's
a
also for-
$200 game that has been sitting in the bottom of a bin for 6 months and we should have ran it. So
Yeah, it's also like for odds and
I would
ends.
never do that. Speaking of all this, what's in all these bins? I don't see a
never
label on
seen it
these.
before.
You guys can find out in the next video. Bye.
Bye.